Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to American History Gazette. Today we delve into one of the most secretive and controversial government programs in American history, Operation Paperclip. Following the collapse of the Third Reich, a fanatic race began to capture the brilliant minds behind Nazi Germany's revolutionary scientific discoveries. This covert mission aimed to bring Nazi scientists to America for scientific and military advancement. Intelligence officials scoured post-war Germany, hunting for these elusive scientists and their groundbreaking knowledge. But they faced a chilling dilemma. To gain the upper hand in global power, they had to overlook the heinous acts and human rights violations committed by these very individuals. So what secrets did these scientists hold? How would they be shipped back to America? How would the government explain this controversial program? And how did these Nazis shape the future of America? Welcome to the secret world of Operation Paperclip. After World War II, the world stood in ruins, grappling with the horrors that had unfolded. Amidst the chaos, a new kind of race began, not for land or power, but for knowledge. At the heart of this scramble was the V-2 rocket, the world's first long-range guided ballistic missile, which had rained destruction on Allied cities. The technological marvel was the brainchild of a brilliant yet controversial figure, Wernher von Braun. Von Braun, an ambitious young engineer, had been fascinated by rocketry from a young age. His expertise and leadership had propelled the Nazi rocket program to new heights previously thought unattainable. The V-2 rocket, his crowning achievement, was a fearsome weapon that showcased the terrifying potential of advanced rocketry. However, this was not merely a tale of technological innovation. The development of the V-2 rocket was marred by the use of forced labor and the inhumane conditions in which thousands of concentration camp prisoners were made to work. As the war drew to a close and the Nazi regime crumbled, von Braun and his team of scientists faced an uncertain future. They knew that their expertise made them valuable assets, and surrendering to the right side could ensure their survival. Meanwhile, American intelligence officers were combing through the wreckage of Germany, driven by a fierce urgency to find these scientists before the Soviets did. The stakes were unimaginably high. Whoever controlled this advanced technology would gain a significant edge in the burgeoning Cold War. Amid the frantic search, von Braun and his colleagues made a calculated decision to surrender to the Americans, believing that the United States offered the best prospects for their future work and safety. It was a gamble that paid off. As investigations throughout post-war Germany progressed, a chilling revelation emerged. Nazi doctors had conducted horrific human experiments in concentration camps. These experiments, often performed under the guise of scientific research, aimed to study the limits of human endurance and the effects of extreme conditions on the human body. The Luftwaffe and SS doctors subjected prisoners to freezing temperatures, rapid decompression, and infectious diseases, pushing the boundaries of ethics and humanity in the pursuit of knowledge. Amidst the ruins of the Third Reich, American intelligence officers stumbled upon the gruesome records of these experiments. They were faced with a stark reality. The same doctors who had committed unspeakable atrocities possessed invaluable knowledge that could advance American aerospace medicine and other fields. The ethical dilemma was profound. How could they reconcile the need for scientific progress with the monstrous acts committed by these scientists? Dr. Hubertus Strughold, known as the father of space medicine, was one such figure. His research on the effects of high-altitude flight and rapid decompression was groundbreaking, yet it was tainted by his involvement in experiments on concentration camp prisoners. Despite his dark past, Strughold and others like him were seen as keys to propelling American science forward. The U.S. government, driven by the urgency of the Cold War and the desire to outpace the Soviet Union, made a calculated decision to recruit these scientists to work for them. Once the decision was made to bring Nazi scientists to America, Operation Paperclip moved into full swing, transforming from a desperate race into a well-coordinated effort. The U.S. government, recognizing the strategic value of these scientists, went to great lengths to facilitate their transfer. Special intelligence teams were deployed to identify and vet candidates, often obscuring or downplaying their involvement with the Nazi regime to ensure their acceptance by both the public and government officials. Scientists like Wernher von Braun and Hubertus Strughold were among the first to be recruited. Von Braun and his team were initially moved to Fort Bliss, Texas, and later to Huntsville, Alabama. His transition to American life involved a complex mixture of secrecy and adaptation. He and his team were provided with housing, and their families were brought over to ensure a smooth integration. The government worked hard to reframe their image from former enemies to essential contributors to national defense and technological progress. Von Braun's expertise and leadership quickly made him a pivotal figure in the American space program. Hubertus Strughold was placed at the School of Aviation Medicine at Randolph Field in Texas, where he continued his research, contributing significantly to the safety and health protocols for American astronauts, directly impacting the success of the space missions. In addition to von Braun and Strughold, hundreds of other scientists were brought to the U.S. They were dispersed across various military bases and research facilities, including Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio and the Aberdeen Proving Ground in Maryland. These scientists worked on a range of projects, from developing jet propulsion systems and advanced weaponry to improving radar and communication technologies. Their contributions were instrumental in giving the U.S. a technological edge during the early years of the Cold War. The process of integrating these scientists was not without its challenges. Many of them had deep ties to the Nazi regime, and their past actions, including involvement in human rights abuses, posed significant ethical dilemmas. To mitigate public backlash, the U.S. government often sanitized their records, focusing on their technical expertise and downplaying their wartime activities. This allowed them to work without constant scrutiny and to contribute effectively to their new roles. Wernher von Braun's work in the U.S. quickly gained momentum. He and his team began developing a series of rockets that would form the backbone of America's missile and space programs. Their first major project was the Redstone rocket, a direct descendant of the V-2, which became the United States' first large-scale operational missile. This rocket was not only crucial for military purposes, but also served as the launch vehicle for America's first live nuclear ballistic missile tests. Building on the success of the Redstone, von Braun's team developed the Jupiter-C rocket, which launched the first American satellite, Explorer 1, into orbit in 1958. This achievement was a significant milestone in the space race, demonstrating America's growing capability in space exploration. However, von Braun's most notable contribution came with the development of the Saturn V rocket. The Saturn V, a behemoth of engineering, was designed to carry humans to the moon. Von Braun's leadership and expertise were instrumental in its development, leading to the successful Apollo missions and the historic moon landing in 1969. This monumental achievement marked a turning point in human space exploration and solidified von Braun's legacy as a pioneering figure in rocket science. Meanwhile, Hubertus Strughold's contributions were equally impactful, albeit in a different realm. Strughold was tasked with addressing the medical challenges posed by space travel. At the School of Aviation Medicine in Texas, he conducted groundbreaking research on the physiological effects of high-altitude flight, zero gravity, and space environments on the human body. Strughold's work led to the development of life support systems, spacesuits, and medical protocols that ensured the safety and well-being of astronauts during their missions. Strughold's research was pivotal for Project Mercury, America's first manned spaceflight program, and later for the Apollo missions. His contributions helped establish the field of aerospace medicine, setting the standards for health and safety in space that are still in use today. His work ensured that astronauts could withstand the rigors of space travel, from the intense G-forces during launch to the microgravity conditions of orbit and the moon's surface. Beyond von Braun and Strughold, many other scientists recruited through Operation Paperclip made significant advancements in various fields. For instance, Kurt Debus, another former Nazi scientist, became the first director of NASA's Kennedy Space Center, overseeing the launches of the Saturn V rockets. Hermann Oberth, a mentor to von Braun, contributed to the development of propulsion systems and space exploration theories. These scientists, despite their controversial past, played crucial roles in establishing the United States as a leader in space exploration and military technology. Aside from the military and space achievements, Nazi scientists were involved in several significant medical breakthroughs that were incorporated into American research through Operation Paperclip. One of the notable contributions was the development of vaccines. Dr. Erich Traub, a prominent scientist in Nazi Germany, played a key role in the development of the typhus vaccine. Typhus was a deadly disease that plagued both military personnel and civilians during the war. Traub's work on the typhus vaccine helped control its spread, significantly impacting the health of affected populations. After being brought to the United States, Traub's expertise in virology and vaccine development contributed to American biomedical research, aiding in the broader fight against infectious diseases. Dr. Kurt Bloom, another significant figure, conducted extensive research on tuberculosis. Tuberculosis was a major health concern during the 20th century, and Bloom's research aimed at understanding and combating this disease. Although his methods were ethically questionable, the knowledge gained from his work laid the groundwork for later advancements in TB treatment and control. When Bloom's expertise was absorbed into American medical science, it helped improve public health strategies and treatments for TB, contributing to the eventual decline of the disease in the mid-20th century. Additionally, Nazi scientists made advancements in the field of bacteriology and immunology. Their research on infectious diseases, often conducted under dire and unethical conditions, nonetheless produced data that proved useful in the development of vaccines and treatments. This included work on diseases like diphtheria, tetanus, and dysentery. For instance, Dr. Walter Schreiber, who had conducted research on typhus and other infectious diseases, was brought to the United States despite his involvement in human experiments. His expertise was valuable in advancing American medical research and developing public health measures against various diseases. Similarly, Dr. Conrad Schaefer's work on kidney function and fluid balance, initially conducted under dubious circumstances, contributed to the understanding and treatment of renal diseases. As the years passed, the legacy of Operation Paperclip continued to shape American science, technology, and military advancements. Initially shrouded in secrecy, the program continued for many years, with the U.S. government maintaining tight control over the narrative surrounding these scientists' pasts. By the time the program ended in 1959, over 1,600 scientists, engineers, and technicians were brought to the United States under this covert operation, significantly influencing the nation's technological progress during the Cold War era. The impact of these scientists was felt across various fields, playing a pivotal role in the development of key projects, such as the Apollo moon missions, intercontinental ballistic missiles, and advancements in space medicine. It wasn't until the late 1970s and early 1980s that the full extent of the program began to emerge. Investigative journalists and historians uncovered documents and records that revealed the details of Operation Paperclip, including the ethical compromises made to integrate these scientists into American society. When the public learned about the true nature of Operation Paperclip, reactions were mixed. On one hand, there was a recognition of the significant advancements these scientists had brought to the United States, particularly in the context of the Cold War and the space race. On the other hand, there was considerable outrage and moral questioning about the decision to employ individuals who had been part of the Nazi war machine, often involved in war crimes and unethical human experiments. The legacy of Operation Paperclip continues to be a subject of reflection and debate, reminding us of the complex interplay between ambition, morality, and the extraordinary lengths the government will go in the name of national security. So that is the story of Operation Paperclip, one of the most fascinating aspects of American history because it still impacts us so much today. It is crazy to think that NASA was basically built by Nazis. So many scientific and military achievements that we see were pioneered by former Nazis. But obviously it's a very complicated and controversial and nuanced issue. There's a clear moral dilemma here. Was it worth it to bring these Nazis to America who have committed heinous acts and human rights violations in the name of national security and military and scientific advancement? So I'm very interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this issue down in the comments below, so make sure to drop your thoughts down there. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out our podcast up in the corner where we post weekly episodes interviewing best-selling authors, expert historians, and combat veterans. If you want to support the channel, our Patreon is in the description below. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on our next adventure.